Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the State of Wrestling Address. Every week we cover the wrestling news for the week and, of course, discuss any events that are upcoming, which is good news for us because WWE Extreme Rules is on the horizon. I'm Aaron Nix, the Egyptian Death Machine, King of Shithousery, general upsetter of everybody and everyone's least favourite podcast host, at least in Britain, and, of course, the British Jim Cornette, and the opinions and the nicknames go on and on and on. But joining me to discuss the week's wrestling news is not Carl Wilkinson because he's dead. So, the proprietor of Peace Haven, Premier Promotions' finest young athlete, and soon to be a CWP Tag Team Champion, has won further the incredible bromance. It is, of course, Cameron Cream Anderson, who, by the way, was referred to as a homosexual by Good God Almighty.
Really? That's quite homophobic, actually.
Yeah.
Well, to Good God Almighty, I say, have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.
I prefer it fried, if I'm being honest, but also boiled chicken. Come on, man.
Boiled chicken is...
no, thank you.
Just roast it.
Joining us alongside the connoisseur of chicken is, of course, the man who puts wood in Bollywood and the man who will no doubt interrupt me at least 10 times during this podcast. It is, of course, Tanveer Verdi, who no doubt has got a raging hard-on because of the return of Veer Mahan to NXT last night.
I'm not going to interrupt Aaron as much, and I miss Kyle.
Shut up, Tanveer. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to discuss WWE Extreme Rules. Let's get right into it with a quick prediction and pre-show. 6 matches on tap. Of course, we are recording this before SmackDown, so hopefully they won't add any more. But as this is one of their middling pay-per-views, they normally go with 6 matches and then maybe a pre-show. So hopefully this card is set in stone. And we start with an Extreme Rules match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan defends against Ronda Rousey. Take your time, boys. I've got all night.
Who's going first?
Rock, paper, scissors?
All right, I'm going first. Fuck it. You know what? Obviously, Kyle's not here, as unfortunately he is currently dissolving in a bath somewhere. But in his honor, in his legacy, I'm going to take Liv Morgan. I know that's what he would have wanted to pick.
It's
Tanveer, who you got?
Liv Morgan.
Ronda Rousey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ronda Rousey to win, unless they're going to have some sort of interference. I don't understand what would be as much as Liv Morgan, I think, has been fantastic and is obviously the hottest woman to ever walk this earth. Although I'm not allowed to say that because I might upset somebody. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense for Ronda Rousey to lose again. She hasn't won a high-profile match since she came back. So, just seems a bit iffy to me. That's just pure logic dictating that. I have nothing else to say, but hopefully it'll be a decent match. I think Liv Morgan has improved no end in her wrestling, and I'm really liking this Extreme Edge. By the way, the Harley Quinn stuff on SmackDown. Oh my lord. Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins inside the fight pit with former or a current UFC champ. I don't fucking care if I'm being honest, but UFC heavyweight champion, former or current UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee.
I think DC just does commentary for UFC right now, but as much as I'd want it to be Rollins 2 for 2, it's going to be Riddle. It's going to be Riddle winning.
Is it?
Yeah.
What say you, Cameron Anderson?
I'm going with Rollins 2 for 2 because I like him.
A fine choice and obviously an incredibly detailed response. Seth freaking Rollins to take the win over Matt Riddle. I don't think Matt Riddle needs it as much, even though the fight pit is what it is. I think he probably should win by some form of shenanigans. Maybe DC turns because he hates Riddle, because he turned his back on UFC or got done over. I also don't see the point in Seth Rollins, the guy in WWE as far as kind of marquee talents. He's kind of like the go-to guy. I don't really see the point in him losing, especially when he's got a United States title shot the following Monday on Raw.
I think only reason why I'm going for Riddle to win because at the event that you two were at, Rollins won.
Yeah.
So 50-50 booking, but That's
I
why.
love that. Yeah, we don't care.
Fair enough.
We don't give a
Aye,
fuck. He's
well,
winning
there's no more
twice.
Vince McMahon, and 50-50 seems to be a little bit more up in the air. However, big heavyweight clash in a strap match. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross, no doubt with Scarlett Bordeaux in tow.
Yeah, I'm going for carry on. Because otherwise it'd be a bit weird if he just got brought back to lose. Although to be fair, it would be quite funny if he just kept fucking losing. Like if he was just terrible wrestler.
It would be fun.
No, it fucking wouldn't.
It would be a
Kross
bit
needs
funny.
to be next contender.
I'm gonna go with Karrion Kross, but it's gonna be the return of Bray Wyatt because after what happened on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre can take a fireball and a low blow and still look kind of fine. So
Karrion Kross to win does make any sense for him to lose. Stupid. Also, don't
it's gonna
Bray Wyatt on this match because what's the point? Bray Wyatt is too big a star, too big a return. We will be speaking about the White Rabbit in due course, so hold your thoughts until then. Bianca Belair defends the WWE Raw Women's Championship in a ladder match against Bayley of Damage Control. No doubt there's going to be a lot of women at ringside fucking around during this match.
I'm going with a Bayley win. I reckon Bayley's going to become champion. Yeah, I think she's been very interesting character ever since returning. I'm not 100% confident in this one because to be honest, Bayley could easily lose this one, and then maybe Io Sky steps up and is like the new sort of heavy hitter in Damage Control and goes after the belt next. But I don't know. I like Bayley and I want to see her win, so that's why I'm going with that one.
I'm going with Bailey as well because after this it's Survivor Series. I know that's War Games, but if they are still doing like the brand warfare thing of like champ v champ, Liv v Bailey seems like the logical choice. I don't know how War Games is going to work. That's why
I am going to have Bianca Belair to retain. Although if she does lose, I believe somebody else will be added to Damage Control to cost her to win, and then that will set up War Games for the women's side of things because there is absolutely no reason why anyone else, women's wise, should be involved in War Games. You've really got a 3-on-3 faction being built here. There's no reason why you can't just throw a couple of extras in there. So best to do it nice and early before Survivor Series, get somebody involved here, and then obviously maybe Becky comes back and evens the odds for Belair because there was that little bit of respect, and obviously Bayley and whatnot kicked the shit out of her right before she left, so that kind of makes sense. But I will say Bianca Belair to retain for now, just because I don't feel like Extreme Rules is a big enough place to see big title changes. Although it would be obviously better for the pay-per-view. It would mean more. An I Quit match, Edge versus Finn Balor, with, of course, probably every member of the Judgment Day in tow.
I'm going to go with Finn Balor to win because Judgment Day has lost every single one of their matches. And I don't think it's hurt them. I think they've actually...
Because they're poo.
Yeah, but I actually disagree. I quite like them. I like Judgment Day. I like their little purple outfits.
Is your remark?
Yeah. But I don't think losing has really hurt them. But it would be nice to see, a big win here.
What say you, Tandy?
I'm gonna go for Finn Balor as well because I feel like Judgment Day kind of need the win at this point.
Mate, your dog looks knackered.
She's turning 12 in December, so she is an old girl.
Yeah. This is the only podcast in British wrestling where you can say someone turning 12 is old.
Yeah, it's a dog, not a person.
Yeah. Why not? In for a penny, in for a pound at this point. I'm going to say Finn Balor. I think he badly needs this. If Finn Balor loses this, at this point, you think, who gives a shit? And it's a shame because although I don't like Judgment Day overall, I am really enjoying the promo segments they've been doing. And I'm really enjoying the fact that they're taking the lead more with Finn Balor speaking, which I really appreciate because he needs more mic time. It's where he's weakest. But this kind of feels like a makeshift Bullet Club. I'm going to say Finn Balor wins because AJ Styles interferes and attacks Edge and turns and joins the Judgment Day. And then we have Click City, bitch. That's what I'm going for. That's what I want. So that's what I'm going for. I want Bullet Club 2.0, but with, you know, more interesting wrestlers and less marks that super kick people for a living. This had better be the main event because it's the match I care about the absolute most. The good old-fashioned Donnybrook Trios match, which no doubt basically means anything goes. It's going to be a street fight. It's going to be the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Rich Holland and Butch versus Imperium's Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci.
Imperium's winning.
This is going to be fucking meaty.
I'm going for Brawling Brutes because the thing is, I think next step after this would be maybe do a 3-on-3 in War Games. War Games between Imperium and Brawling Brutes.
This is where the male War Games goes, as far as I'm concerned.
Because if it's not Bloodline, then
it would be, yeah, that's true. Bloodline would be very, very cool, and they do have the numbers. But then who'd you put in against them unless you put in an assortment of guys? And I swear to God, if I see Madcap Moss in War Games, I'm turning it off because that guy can get in. Mr. Generic pro wrestler, creative wrestler number 3. No, good body, nice guy. Fucking boring. Nothing going on as far as I'm concerned, which is an absolute shame because if he had a good gimmick, if he was really good on the mic, he could be fire. But yeah, this is gonna fucking slap. I think the Brawling Brutes win because Sheamus is probably going to lose the IC title match the night before on SmackDown, which, by the way, is going to be amazing and all the more reason to watch SmackDown. Cameron Anderson, you look slightly perturbed. Are you a little bit tired? Is there something going on?
No, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Get your head in the game, boy. Get your head in the game. I know you're upset that Frankie T referred to you as gay. But you have to soldier through, mate. For the
I mean, I can live with that, to be honest. I'm looking forward to watching the pod.
Yeah, it's a podcast. It's all right. It's fine. By the way, Xander, really good fun. I really, fuck me, I cannot wait for that. And they've had a lot of the main thing on SmackDown. There are 2 main things going on. Obviously, Bloodline with Sami Zayn and the kind of dysfunctional nature of that with the Usos. Tanvir buggering off halfway through a podcast, and then of course, obviously, there is this magnificent rivalry between the Brawling Brutes, who are easily, for me, the thing that I hated most at the beginning of the year and the thing I love the most at the end of the year. Like, they have absolutely gone full circle. And a lot of that has to do with Triple H making them all legit. Ridge Holland had a fantastic show, and then the tag team title match against the Usos as well. He finally looks like he's becoming a more rounded wrestler. I know it's very unfortunate what happened to Big E. I know he didn't do it deliberately, but it's still an accident. It's still, you know, a little bit sloppy. But yeah, I got to say, looking forward to this card. No Bloodline, obviously. No major champion in Roman Reigns defending his title, but you've got, 2 women's championships on the line, not to mention Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre, which feels like a heavy-hitting star match. It's a good-looking card, and it's only 6 matches, so hopefully be a nice, tight 3 hours, and it'll be on Saturday as well, which is great news. So if anyone wants to join us, jump in the Xbox party, come on the Zoom call, watch Extreme Rules with us as it kicks off at midnight/1 a.m. Let us know. That's British time, of course. And if Kyle Wilkinson hears this, Kyle, please come home. It's been too long, mate. Been too long. Your mum misses you. We don't miss you, but your mum does. And Tanvir as well, who is basically your mum. So yeah, either that or he's drowning in Pussy Lake somewhere, and that's not a euphemism. How disappointing. Right. Anything we want to say about Extreme Rules before we move on to the news?
Even though you said it's a middling it's like one of WWE's middling pay-per-views, it's such a solid card.
Triple H is in charge, mate. Like, we can sort of, sometimes it is as simple as all change. And I think with Triple H in charge, it just feels like everything's got greater structure, everything's more edgy. It's a good fucking looking card. It really is. The Fight Pit as well, great gimmick match. And the Fight Pit matches, I think it was it Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle and NXT had one, and that was a fucking slapper and a half.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, good stuff. Good trial as well, because if it goes over well, we can use it more often, because it is one of the few unique match types that we're not drowned in. Everything else has become really gimmicked.
Because I think with the last Fight Pit, it was Kurt Angle as the guest ref, I think. So it's kind of cool how it's like, okay, you've got this cool thing, but also to make it more interesting, we're going to have a guest ref who's like legitimate.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything to add, Cam?
I just hope everyone involved has a good time.
Definitely gay. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the wrestling news. Right. Has anyone heard about this very strange lawsuit against Randy Orton's real life tattoo?
Yes.
Based on 2K22. So the lawsuit against WWE and the developers and publishers of the WWE 2K video game series over their use of Randy Orton's real-life tattoos has come to a close. While the jury did rule in favor of tattoo artist Catherine Alexander this past Friday, the victory is not as clear-cut as it may seem on the surface. According to documents obtained by PW Insider, Alexander received just $3,750 as damages for the use of tattoos after spending years on this trial that is likely considerably less than Alexander was hoping for. Additionally, when posed the question of how much of an effect Orton's tattoos had on the sales of the game, the jury determined that it was none whatsoever, preventing Alexander from receiving any cut of the series' profits. The outcome of the case muddies the water when it comes to the rights of tattoo artists when their work is represented in products such as video games or movies. In the past, judges have often ruled against the artist, determining that the use of tattoos did not infringe upon the artist's copyrights. Now, a new precedent has been put in place by this jury. Though the monetary gain leaves much to be desired, it remains to be seen what kind of effect this will have on future WWE titles and sports games such as the NBA 2K series or the NFL Madden series, where players are usually realistically recreated for the game, tattoos and all. Last week, Orton himself testified for over 3 hours regarding the case, though it is worth noting that he was not an actual defendant, despite being the subject of much of the conversation, and no doubt probably lent itself, along with his injury, as to why he's had some time away from the game. Interesting question, this. Obviously, I've got tattoos, a lot. If you have tattoos, do you feel that the artists deserve compensation for those tattoos being on show in any kind of medium or entertainment product?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Surely you
because
pay, like, this might upset a few tattoos. It's probably going to stop me from getting more ink, but I think that if you've paid, absolutely, you're getting their artistic talents and absolutely you're paying for their design. But the only time I would feel that a tattooist would really have any serious gripe is if that design was then replicated or used by other tattoo artists, then you'd absolutely have every right to go after these people. As far as me getting ink, for instance, like I've got this, this beautiful piece on my forearm here. Now, if I'm on a poster for, insert wrestling promotion here, does that mean that if that poster helps drive ticket sales that I owe a certain cut, or the company itself owes a cut to my tattoo artist? I don't think so. I think that's a very dangerous precedent to set, because as soon as you do, all of a sudden what you're essentially doing is going to alienate a large proportion of people who might make money from being represented. Maybe they're YouTube stars, maybe they're on posters, maybe they're musicians, doesn't matter what it is. Think about all the high profile celebrities we know who are covered in tattoos. Footballers, American footballers, sports stars of any kind, celebrities, TV, stand-up comedians, whatever that might be. You're opening up a really dodgy bag of worms.
yeah.
Cameron Anderson as a tattooed man, what do you think?
I actually don't have any tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Do you have any plans on tattoos in the future?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna keep rolling as I am at the moment, and then eventually, I reckon it's just gonna hit me one day. I'm just gonna wake up and be like, "Yeah, let's go, just do it."
You'll literally just wake up and you have a tattoo of like Frankie T on your wrist or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not, to be honest.
Gonna bust out the Sharpies.
Yeah, just get a henna first. Like that's the best way to do it. Get yourself a henna, and then because they can last anything between a month to 6 months, depending on what kind of ink you're using, and those things are quite cool to kind of give you a feel of whether you like it or not. But whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you do decide to go and get tattoos, do not just pick something fun that looks fun. Pick something that means something, because you will have it for life unless you get it lasered off. And if you get it lasered off, you'll have scarring for life, and it will be arguably one of the most excruciating feelings of your life. I don't even need to know that. I've seen it. But I am lucky enough to actually like all my tattoos, despite the fact that some of them have been referred to as prison tattoos. Thank you very much. Cretins. Right. Do we share the opinion of Conan? at any point because he's got some interesting opinions this week.
What the
Conan,
fuck?
of course, had a legendary career inside the ring, but he's also more recently spent a fair amount of time as a manager, not to mention ranting away on his podcast. He revealed some criticisms he had of one of AEW's managers in an interview with Wrestling Inc.'s senior news editor, Nick Hausman. He was referring to Stokely Hathaway, who we of course know quite well from his time in WWE, not to mention all his time in Evolve beforehand. First of all, Stokely, very unentertaining. I don't know why he gets so much TV. Hathaway has recently gained a lot more screen time on AEW programming, having gone from being Jay Cargill's manager to the manager of the newly formed faction, The Firm, which of course is led by MJF. Conan's main issue with Stokely Hathaway and the Firm stems from the incohesive feeling of the group. He pointed out the various members of the Firm, saying that some of them didn't need Hathaway, while Conan didn't even know who others were. Think of the panorama I just threw you, he said. Lee Moriarty, W. Morrissey, the Gunn Brothers, and Ethan Page. Think of that crew in your mind. Do any of those guys look like they would actually hang out with each other? This was all said without any sense of malice or hostility from Conan, who noted that he's not anti-Stokely, but rather just putting forth criticism. People think because you criticize somebody, you don't like them. I like this guy, but I'm not hating. I'm just stating. There's something you should put on a t-shirt right there, buddy. So, gentlemen, Stokely Hathaway, is he unentertaining?
Oh, I disagree. I do like Stokely, but I do see where Conan's coming from because, you know, it is something that AEW is criticized for. And that is just that there's about 5 billion factions and there's a new one coming up every week.
And they're all
I can see what
terrible.
he means.
None of them are good.
I can definitely see what he means about like those guys not really fitting together. It doesn't really gel for me, the Firm.
Yeah, I mean, if you read that list out, I personally think most of them are scrubs. And they certainly don't. Like he says, like, I think there's something, like, for instance, the bloodline. Yes, I know it's because they're related. And yes, they all have a similar, you know, ethnicity and diverse background and things like that. But they look like a cohesive unit. And Sami Zayn works because he's completely in the opposite faction. You know, he's the opposite kind of look to every single person in that faction. Whereas if you put, say you did the Sami Zayn thing in the Firm, nobody would give a shit because he wouldn't look out of place. He'd just look like another random guy who's been added to a group of random guys. So it's that continuity. I think criticism is valid. Tanvir, what do you think?
I like Stokely Hathaway, and just to add on to the faction things, Bandito's just supposedly been signed to AEW, so it's like is that going to be like another Mexican faction or something?
Put him with Death Triangle, aren't they?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Bandito says, "Shut up, Alex. Nobody cares."
But it's just that Stokely Hathaway is very interesting. He's very entertaining. It's just that I can see Conan's point as well of like they don't really look like a cohesive unit. It's, to me, the only cohesive unit right now, I think, in AEW for me would be Blackpool Combat Club, just because of Regal, and then you've got like Claudio, Moxley,
Star Power as well.
Yeah,
they have star power, which the rest of the factions don't. One thing that really stands out to me as well is the fact that I've seen this argument being made on social media of, but Stokely Hathaway was with MJF back in the day in the Indies. What, in front of 200 people?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Because
it's a TV product that has 1 million viewers.
Yeah. Only other faction in AEW that felt like big on star power was hopefully the comeback was House of Black, because the entrance and everything. Those are the only two factions that I felt.
Couldn't disagree more. I thought they were absolute scrubs. They had
Fair enough. I love the entrance and the lurk, but yeah,
you can say they were a good-looking faction. That's not a problem. But to say they had star power, like when Malachi Black was the only real star in that group,
that's true. Okay, that's
You know, Matthews is an amazing worker, never been a star, and Brody King is okay, but you know, it's just a big tattoo geezer. It looks like Brody King looks like the extra in a prison film that's in the background whenever a riot breaks out.
That's just I think Brody King's on his way though, and he like they've kind of given him the torch a little bit. So I think like
has he won something then? I haven't been watching. Has he won a title or something?
Who did he face?
He won the Battle Royal and had a pretty good match with Moxley for the title.
I guarantee you will not see him do anything prominent now for 6 months, because that's AEW in a nutshell. Hey, Powerhouse Hobbs, where you at, bro?
Oh yeah, no, that does suck, doesn't it?
Andrade.
Yeah, we're about to talk about Andrade. Good segue, mate. Good segue. I like your style. So, who's seen Twitter today?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, I know, right? So, turns out there's a little bit of beef. Just a little bit of beef, or as they call it, the kids, I believe, call it tweef, which is dangerously, yeah, I know, right? Twitter beef, or as we like to call it, fanny fart. Shut the fuck up. So El Idolo Andrade, he put out an interesting statement on a podcast when he was quoted, I believe, by Fightful, but don't quote me on that. I had an issue with him. He's referring to Sammy Guevara. I had an issue with him because he once came to the locker room and complained that we hit him too hard. It's wrestling. Solve it in the ring. If I hit hard, hit me hard too. I learned that he came in and that he accused me like a little girl. After I learned about it, I spoke to him and asked if he had an issue with me, but he said he did not. And that's all there was to it. It's funny because not even in WWE, for example, Sheamus likes to hit, and all my respect for him because he loves to hit hard and loves the strikes. He is wild. Even The Miz likes to throw strikes. Not even John Cena complained about me. So if he did not complain, imagine this kid who is just starting. But there's that. This was then followed up with a tweet, which kind of doubled down on that from Mr. Andrade. Let me just get that up for you. There it is. So, yeah, after that little interaction, basically calling out Sami Zayn in his podcast, he also tweeted, I said it to your face. If you had a problem with me and you said nothing, I won't beat your ass because I'm a professional. Don't be scared. When I say something, I name names, and I'm not scared to get fired. Hashtag Sammy. This was then followed up by this rather wonderful tweet from Samuel Guevara on Twitter, which read, as I say, you didn't say shit to me, you liar. But here's some truth, you ungrateful prick. You would be jobless if it wasn't for your dad-in-law. Are you really mad at me or mad at yourself for failing to get over for a second time? Just go back to WWE like we all know you want to do and fuck off. Fun. Could be a work. Might not be. No idea at this point because there seems to be an extreme amount of disarray in the AEW locker room. Boys, what do we think about Andrade and Sammy Guevara going after each other?
Yeah, I think that was a bit harsh from Sammy Guevara. A bit mean of him to say that about Andrade. So hopefully, they attend some sort of counseling or something and they make up.
Yeah, just put them in a match together. After watching Cobra Kai season 5, just put them in a ring and have them fight out their differences.
Okay.
Yeah. I say, take them out on like a camping adventure or something team building. I don't go ape. I'm just throwing that out there. Go ape.
Go ape with Sammy Guevara and Andrade. Fuck it out.
I don't know whether to beat the shit out of you two or just watch the Broken Skull Challenge and sort it out. Fucking kids. Honestly, social media. Oh, someone said something and it upset me. Well, then don't fucking go on social media. Like,
jerk off.
Do what the Young Bucks did. Kick in his door, kick the shit out of him or bite him or something. I don't fucking know. Oh, fuck me. Also, Andrade would be absolutely amazing in the current format that WWE's looking at. So, you know what? Could possibly be the case. I believe he's on Rampage tomorrow or the night after tomorrow, and it's for his career. I think if he loses, then he has to quit AEW. So never know. Never know. We are seeing though quite a occurrence here. We've seen Malachi Black, who's now taking some time away. He came out and obviously disputed a lot of the things that were said about him in the media. There looks to be a lot more guys who are now starting to sort of think twice about the whole creative control of AEW. Are we finally starting to see the cracks that many of us have seen from early doors, that ultimately AEW is full of a lot of empty promises, despite the fact that it can sometimes be very good?
Yeah, it just seems to be a lot of infighting at the moment.
You know why that is? Because there's no one in charge.
Yeah. And
that's what happens when you don't have somebody. Vince McMahon was too far on the other extreme, but that's better than just letting all the inmates run the asylum, which is what Tony Khan essentially does. but he gives them empty promises. Malachi Black insinuated in a statement that a lot of what he wanted to do was not fulfilled despite promises being made about his creative control. And what we're seeing is a lot of these guys come in, have 3 or 4 weeks where they look shit hot, could potentially be stars, and everyone's like, yeah, see, we know how to use them properly. That doesn't mean shit. It's the long-term booking.
Yeah.
And the majority of these people, if your name's not John Moxley or Chris Jericho or CM Punk, turns out you're probably going to be a bit of a middling talent.
Yeah. And that's the thing with AEW and why I've turned off. It's like we done the thing a few weeks back of like talents who should be cut, and it's like, yeah, you need to start cutting talents or have a clear divide between your ROH roster and your AEW roster instead of merging them, because you're having ROH talents on AEW programming, and then the AEW talents that are actually signed aren't getting TV time, and then they get pissed and then complain, and then it's all a trickle down system and nobody's happy.
Yeah. Cam, would you go to AEW or WWE right now?
Depends, because obviously with AEW you do get the Go Ape included. So Tony Khan will pay.
Sometimes I wish Lunatrix was here just to fucking slap you.
Tricks and Nicks.
That's a bit harsh.
Tricks
That's a
and
bit
Nicks.
harsh.
It's
Lunatrix does slap me, then she just knows that there is a Go Ape that will be coming.
Is this the new Wrestle Blog thing? Whenever somebody steps out of line, we send them to a sensitivity training course involving Go 8.
Yeah, like, you know, if you're putting your foot out of line, you know, if you're being
just your foot.
dick,
You say the A word, you immediately get sent to like a full park day trip.
Yep, I'm down for that.
Yeah, exactly. We're sending people to Go Ape en masse at this point. All right, I've had enough of the whole industry. Everyone's going Go Ape.
Cam, I just got why Go Ape?
The strongest will
Well, it's local, isn't it? So
it's a local.
For me, at least,
let's
it's
just do the
local.
Hunger Games, isn't it? Let's sort this out old-fashioned battle royale.
Oh yes,
fucking have it out. Fight to the fucking death.
Who do you reckon's winning the battle royale in the CWP roster?
Who's winning? What is it? Squid Game, I think it is on Netflix. Who's winning? Legitimately, you got to think Brock Lesnar's going to be out there, haven't you?
Oh Jesus!
If it's WWE, it's
if
Brock
it was
Lesnar,
Squid Games, I would say like somebody else. For battle royale, absolutely.
Yeah, because Squid Game involves a lot of cerebral intelligence and things like that.
Yeah.
Which you got to think. That's why I think someone like Cesaro would probably be very good. Claudio Castagnoli, because he's very intelligent, but also a proper athlete. So, you know, he'd have a very good chance out of all of them. I reckon Sammy Guevara would die in the first round. Yeah, definitely. Either that or he'd use Taynara as a human shield for the hide and seek game.
I recently watched Battle Royale on Amazon Prime, and it's still so good.
Pretty gnarly, isn't it? Pretty gnarly. It's kind of like
awesome.
all these different series and all these different films that kind of play on this whole, you know, battle royale sort of thing. It's all based off of that, really.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the source text. I know that there's, you know, Lord of the Flies is probably kind of one of the original texts that really refers to that. But I like how we're finding more interest in talking about people fighting to the death than we are about AEW and their little squabbles.
I mean, Tony Khan's probably got enough money to buy an island. I'll probably do that. It's like, if you want out of your contract, I've bought this island, you're going to go fight on it to the death.
I want to see Tony Khan and Vince McMahon in the fight pit.
Honestly, Tony Khan with his helmet on and his harness ready to go up, Go Ape. That is just what we want.
Well, at least we know what the podcast is going to be called, don't we? Let's be honest.
Go Ape.
Pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? Pretty obvious.
Cam, why not like Top Golf or something? Why Go Ape?
I don't know, to be honest.
You don't know what Top Golf is?
No.
Oh, I think you'd have a lovely time at Top Golf.
Can we please talk about wrestling?
Wrestling shit.
Yeah, wrestling's not actually that fun. Like,
no,
we're going Windmill Hill.
One of the least fun things, unfortunately,
there's no like up bringing news.
You just interrupted me, didn't you?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize. I blanked out. Sorry,
Strike, bitch. Right, that's goal 8 immediately. Not having that. Unacceptable. Sensitivity training for interrupting people. As we know, obviously, you must be more sensitive. You must not have opinions. You must not make any jokes. You must not have fun whatsoever on the podcast. Do you understand me, gentlemen? Japanese wrestling legend Antonio Inoki sadly passed away at the age of 79 this week. One of the most influential and important figures in the history of Japanese professional wrestling. Antonio Inoki passed away at his home on Saturday, October the 1st. A specific cause of death was not reported, but Inoki's health problems over recent years are well known. In an interview earlier this year, he admitted he had been near death on a number of occasions. News of Inoki's passing came nearly 62 years to the day after his pro wrestling debut at the age of 17 on September the 30th, 1960. Another literal and figurative giant in Japanese wrestling history, Inoki's future tag team partner, Shohei Baba, made his in-ring debut on the same card for the Japan Pro Wrestling Alliance, later simply known as Japan Wrestling Alliance. Inoki and Baba's departure from the JWA changed the course of wrestling in Japan forever. In 1972, Inoki founded New Japan Pro Wrestling, while Baba founded All Japan Pro Wrestling. Within two of its top stars, Without two of its top stars, the JWA obviously collapsed. Inoki's influence spread around the world. In 1976, he rather famously squared off against Muhammad Ali in an infamous wrestler versus boxer match. I watched it. It's not very good, but it's still pretty iconic in that regard. The bout is viewed by many as a prelude to the future popularity of the sport of mixed martial arts. There's obviously a lot to remember about Antonio Inoki, but obviously we send our well wishes and condolences to his family and New Japan Pro Wrestling in particular. For such a great loss. Tanvir, I know Japanese wrestling is very important to you. Antonio Inoki.
It was cool that at night one of Royal Quest they did do the 10-bell salute for Inoki and played his theme. I think I messaged Cam because he posted on his Instagram story about Inoki, and I said we were talking a few weeks ago about like what if when Vince dies, this feels like, because Inoki in a way is Japanese Vince. Because if without Inoki, you wouldn't have so many things, and so the loss of Inoki is really big. I think on New Japan's YouTube channel, they've put up a little video. I think they filmed it 2 weeks before Inoki's death, which is called "The Final Words of Antonio Inoki," and it's just it's a good watch. And Inoki, all I've got to end it with is Inokiism will live forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam, you want anything to add, mate?
Yeah, look, everyone kind of knows I'm quite clueless on this podcast, but Antonio Inoki is someone who, like, I've heard of. He's massive. His influence, it can't really be stated. So I really did feel his passing, just because it's such a titan of the industry, is now no longer with us, unfortunately. So yeah, no, I was very upset to hear about his passing.
It's crazy that the two guys who arguably have one of the biggest moments, I think, in Kuroko and Hall are both dead, and it's when Vader debuted and beat Inoki, like basically squashed him for the title, and you had the riot at Korakuen. It's sad, and really
that's what triggered the popularity of gaijins as well, like genuinely monster gaijins in Japan, where for the longest time it was considered a place where you went to kind of do jobs and things of that nature. You were always going to be a middling undercarder or mid-carder, and Vader came in and instantaneously, and that kind of made it worse when Vader went to WWF, because we'd seen him as this mega star like Stan Hansen in Japan, and then all of a sudden, fast forward, to Vader obviously moving to WWF, like I said, and he just wasn't used properly. Whereas in Japan, someone like Antonio Inoki of his stature, to be able to go out there and say, we're going to do the job to you and we're going to put you over so strong, you're just basically going to kick the shite out of me. That's a man who understood business. And a lot of people in this day and age don't understand business.
There's the amazing video that people are talking about.
Unfortunately, Tam has unfortunately passed away there.
I don't know what's going on
again, mate.
Yeah, there's the awesome video, I think, narrated by Bill Burr, when it's Inoki v some big dude called Antonio, and it just
the great Antonio. Is this when he
yeah.
stiffs him out and kicks the shit out of him?
Yeah, because it's like you're not selling for me, and it's like Inoki can kick your ass.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate video. I saw you shared that on your Facebook, and I watched that, and I thought I'd do some research on that because it is pretty nasty. Basically, Antonio Inoki essentially gets the match to stop by stamping on his head for legit. But then we find out later on that Great Antonio actually was like a very popular and world-renowned bodybuilder. You know, he was actually in good shape at one point, and during this match, he was, with all due respect, quite round, you know, quite out of shape. And he was stiff, he took liberties, but then we find out he also had mental difficulties. So you know, it's that thing of like, you know, I understand why people wanted to celebrate that as this man who respected the business and was willing to protect it more than anyone else, and the fight with Muhammad Ali. But actually, if you look at those two moments in an isolated thing, if you watch them properly, they're both quite uncomfortable and frankly quite poor, despite their massive celebration of what they're, you know, what they mean and what they stand for. I completely understand. I understand why they're iconic moments, but considering everything he did, even being technically a WWF champion, which is unfortunately not recognized, it's an unofficial reign, which now people are lobbying to be recognized as official, even though he is in the WWE Hall of Fame, of course, and things of that nature. It's it's not something I would personally celebrate for him, but it does kind of represent what he meant to the business and how ferociously he was willing to protect it, even at the expense of an individual's health.
There's also the cool video of, I think, when it's Luke Gallows, Doc Gallows in a match, I think one of his first matches in Japan, and it's going rubbish, and then you just see Inoki walk through the crowd all pissed, like he's gonna slap the shit out of him. It's incredible.
That I do want to see. That sounds like a good time.
I'll try to find it and send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, massive condolences to everyone involved, family, friends, and fans, of course, of Antonio Inoki. So let's shift gears to the ongoing White Rabbit scenario that is going on in WWE. So it appears WWE's ongoing White Rabbit teases could come to a head at Extreme Rules this Saturday in Philadelphia. The latest QR code, which dropped during the 3rd of October WWE Raw, which is one that's just gone, directs fans to a painting of Samson and Delilah from the Bible, a hidden message in the middle, and a magic eye painting at the bottom. There's also a binary code embedded in the Earl. If you hover over the painting of Samson and Delilah, there's half of a WWE Earl, which says 751720W, which also happens to be the longitudinal coordinates to the Wells Fargo Center, the location of Extreme Rules. The other half of the L can be found on the other end of the painting, only accessible via the mobile site. This new L leads to another painting of Samson and Delilah, with Samson destroying the stone pillars at the Philistine Temple. Below the painting is the following number: 6901-209-258022. Feel like I should have read that out like Bender when he does binary. The aforementioned number, when Googled, links to a photo of a Japanese milk brand called White Rabbit. As for the magic eye painting in the original image, the code translates to MTA4MJL. When decoded, it reads 10/8/22, the date of Extreme Rules. As for the embedded Earl in the original image, when translated, the code spells out Gacy. This could be a reference to NXT star Joe Gacy, who has been previously compared to Bray Wyatt. Fans believe this clue is just a red herring, similar to one of the codes referencing Malachi Black last week. That's not all. The hidden message in the original link, written in the Yotya language, apologies if I've mispronounced that, used in the Predator movie franchise, translates to the following words: before me, things created were none, save things. Eternal and eternal I endure. All hope abandon, ye who enter here. To break things down, the final bit of the above quote was once used by Ray Wyatt during a Firefly Funhouse segment. Also, Wyatt had tweeted a painting of Samson and Delilah the night after Alexa Bliss betrayed him at WrestleMania 36. In other words, all signs do point to Wyatt's return to WWE, most likely this Saturday at Extreme Rules. We've gone on and on about who it might be and if it's Bray Wyatt, blah, blah, blah. More importantly, have you enjoyed this? Because as a conspiracy theorist, not one that necessarily believes in them, but enjoys them and enjoys all this kind of, you know, subtleties. I like things like The Matrix, the stuff that makes you think outside the box and outside of your own existence. Have you enjoyed this completely revolutionary take on wrestling? Because this is the first time that WWE has really tried something this wild.
I love it because it's so different. and it freshens things up, and that's why I'm loving it so much. Not just because the song's amazing, but also like all the little clues, all the little hints of like, oh, it could be this person or it could be this person. It's like the constant misdirection. It makes you constantly question. So that's why I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. It reminds me a lot of Rata Alada. So I don't want to say anything that would like spoil the Batman because I know you haven't seen it just yet. But obviously Rata Alada is a big part of like the Riddler's plot there. And it's the post credit. If you stay to the end of the credits of the film, it flashes up with the URL for Rata Alada. And on that website, it had like quite similar sort of teasing, that there's like a Riddler book coming. It's like some additional content. You got to see like photos, not necessarily behind the scenes kind of things, but it's like, additional like photos that kind of put you in this world of Gotham. And that's actually been taken down now. So it's been
Oh, is it
seized by
gone?
Gotham PD.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. I like that.
so yeah, that's gone now. But yeah, it's very similar to that. So I think I can see kind of where the inspirations come from. But for me, yeah, it's been very incredible. Like I've really enjoyed this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like a lot of the subtleties. I like a lot of the things that are, been mentioned. It just feels fresh. It feels different. I love falling down the rabbit hole. It's one of my favorite TV series was Lost, and during Lost they had a lot of stuff involving the Dharma Corporation where you could actually go on the website and you could complete puzzles and things like that. And basically loads of people were using it to cheat the process and stuff like that because somebody had actually given away online how to do it all to get like a perfect score. And if you did it honestly, they selected, I believe, a few of them to be extras in the series, which was quite cool. Whereas the people who were cheated, the algorithm actually knew that and then would basically say you are a cheat, fuck off, and blocked you out of the system. It's very clever. So, stuff like that just really works for me. Bray Wyatt coming back in. Do we feel like he has to be a big deal this time around, or is that it? Because ultimately they've dropped the ball twice with this guy.
I really think, yeah, if it is Bray Wyatt, if Bray Wyatt is coming back at Extreme Rules, it does need to be big. It needs to be, they really need to put their faith in him. Otherwise, to be honest, it's a case of like, well, I don't really see him coming back unless they're putting their full faith into him to be able to deliver this storyline. So I hope so. I think we're going to see some great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanvir, any thoughts on Bray Wyatt coming back and what he should be doing?
I think it does need to be a big deal. And I think the thing with this time is, and it was the thing with The Fiend, is that the character of The Fiend felt it didn't need the title, yet they put the title on it. Whereas this time, I think it's going to be interesting to see if it is Bray Wyatt, which character it'll be, and if he needs a title or not. Because the original character of Bray Wyatt, from NXT till before he came back as The Fiend, that character felt very much like, okay, kind of needs a title to solidify. Whereas the character of The Fiend felt it didn't need a title, that it was a big enough entity. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I wait with a bated breath. Now, one final topic before we go to any other business. So I have a list here of dream matches that would probably be terrible in retrospect. And I want you to tell me whether you believe they would be yes, terrible, or no, they would be fantastic. Gentlemen, are we ready?
Can I say one thing?
No.
Oh, sorry.
What?
No.
What'd you watch?
You made a Futurama reference earlier. Just want to say R.I.P. Coolio because Kwanzaa bot.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair dues.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What do you say to that, really? I mean, rest in peace, one of the more influential rappers of our time, and hip hop artists at least. Right, so these are dream matches that many believe would be terrible. So you have to simply tell me whether they would be terrible or good. And we start with Hulk Hogan versus John Cena.
Yeah, classic. That would have been amazing if that actually happened.
Right, that's it. Go 8 for a full weekend.
It would have been bad, but the thing is, it would have had the same thing that Hogan Rock had of like the big, huge pop. Because you go back and watch the match. The match is not great, but it's the moment of like the stare down. So that's what I feel Hogan Cena would have been like. It would have been that moment of the two icons in the ring together. But the match after it nobody would remember because it would have been bad.
All right. Yep. I personally think it would have been a fucking dreadful match, but it would have drawn a lot of money. But then that could be the case for pretty much every match on here. Roddy Piper versus CM Punk.
That would have been quite cool. Yeah, I would have liked to see that.
I think the match would have been okay. I think more the build up would have been interesting.
Yeah, the pipe bombs, the promos, lights out. The match itself would have been fine. Roddy Piper could work, especially in his early days when he was doing dog collar stuff and when he was working with Greg the Hammer Valentine rather famously. Like, you know, he could really go. It's just in WWF, he was never motivated enough to be the guy. And he was quite happy, actually, in some ways, being a megastar on the mic, but a mid-carder in the ring. That was kind of his thing. Jake the Snake Roberts versus Randy Orton.
That would have been sick.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I cannot believe they think this would have been terrible. Admittedly, like, yeah, modern day Jake Roberts, absolutely it'd be fucking terrible. You're not gonna bust a nut while we're in the ring. But you know, it's one of those things where in their primes, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I think that would have been excellent. This is the one that really baffles me. Ric Flair versus MJF. How does anyone think in their right mind that this would be terrible?
It would have been cool. It would have been
like if we're factoring in people's primes, this would be good. This would be a sick storytelling contest. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because heel versus heel might not necessarily work. Then again, Flair can be a face. Yeah. So
same with MJF. MJF proves he can be a face. In Long Island.
I've not really seen that, to be honest.
Shut up, Zambi.
He's
Sting
a face.
versus John Cena.
Who?
Movie John Cena?
Sting.
That'd be quite cool. That'd be quite cool.
We almost kind of got that in WWE. Almost, but
didn't know, did we?
Yeah, we didn't. That's why I said almost. It would have been, it would have been. I think it would have been okay.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Like, especially Surfer Sting versus John Cena in his prime would have been great. I'd like to see Surfer Sting, Uber Babyface Sting versus heel Thugonomic Cena. That's where the money's at for me.
Oh, mate, I love Surfer Sting. I love Surfer Sting so much more than Crow Sting.
Yeah, I do as well.
I think Crow Sting is
massively unpopular opinion. I think he was so much better as a face when he was a surfer guy.
Yeah,
brilliant.
To be fair,
it's only because it's associated with the Crow, and you're not allowed to say anything bad about the Crow. And obviously, there's a remake coming out, which will be interesting. But that's
there's a remake of the Crow.
There is. So Ultimate. Here's one that's really gonna get Cam's back up. Is this terrible or good? Dream match: Ultimate Warrior versus Goldberg.
Come on, bro. Give them 3 minutes and magic will happen. Like that would be so good. I'm sorry, 3-minute match between these two. Like, 60 minutes, granted it'll be shit, but 3 minutes is all that match needs.
Imagine the promo from Ultimate Warrior for Goldberg there. Binned off his nut on coke as well. Absolutely incredible.
Mate, I'd actually just love to see Goldberg hits a jackhammer, 1 count kick out from the Warrior, who does his whole shtick with the splash, 1 count kick out from Goldberg, and then they just get off and just start headbutting each other until they're just completely red.
Cam sold me now. If it's like
that was it. I was going to say, this is fucking terrible. And then I heard this match plan and thought, that's fucking money. I want all of that. Imagine if they do that 1 count kick out and then he does, he does the build up where he goes like that. And then he runs over both sides as he comes back the second time. Wham, spear. It's like, oh yeah. Do you know what? Fuck it. Give it to me. Give it to me. I know Ultimate Warrior's dead, but give it to me. Simple as that, really. Andre the Giant versus The Undertaker.
Oh yeah, that'd
be good though.
That'd be a cool big man fight.
That'd be cool just seeing it happen. Like, the thing is I don't think there's any bad matches on paper. I think it's just the circumstances.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
it's
Andre
like-
the Giant was always rubbish.
Yeah, but
What about
that's
in
like
Japan though? He was pretty good in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
doesn't
good
matter,
because it's all about work rate, isn't it? Like you
Mm.
kind of have to be, but yeah, fair enough. Like if you can find a good version of him versus Taker, cool. I just feel that, yeah, no, I don't know. It just doesn't sit that well with me, so I'm going to go with terrible. NWO versus DX
yeah, that'd be classic. How's that bad in retrospect?
because Kevin Nash will probably tear his quad in the first minute.
Kevin
we,
Nash
He'll
is
probably get
the
drunk and
G.
try and
That'd be
bang.
sick.
we
Road
sort
Dogg's
of
wife.
we sort of saw that at Mania
Don't exist,
31.
But not really though.
Well, they
Not
just had
really,
a brawl,
though.
didn't they? That was literally like the emptying of the retirement home. That match, like, it's just brilliant.
Mate,
Like,
Archie was wanking over that match. Archie literally said he was going to slit his wrists if Sting lost.
yeah, but
No, I swear to God, he did say that.
Vertically or horizontally?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Okay.
well, you always go downstream.
Oh God.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry. I'm just doubling down on this bullshit at this point. Yeah, in their primes, fantastic. Now, in the current state, God no.
Yeah.
But he obviously, no offense, but I mean, the NWO is going to be a man down immediately, aren't they? So, you know, they. I said no offense. What more do you want? Oh, sorry, I've got to go 8.
Statement.
I need some go 8 sensitivity train. That's what I need. Yeah, no, NWO versus DX in their prime. Absolutely, that would slap. Brock Lesnar versus Batista.
Mate, that's good.
That's
What?
happened.
These are all
That
so
was
good.
That happened
Yeah.
and that was good.
Yeah, I think that would slap. I think that would absolutely slap. Here's the one for Cam. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bill Goldberg.
Mate,
Ooh.
how there's no version of this world, you know, in the infinite multiverse where that is a bad match. Like that is a banger. That would be so good.
Austin catches Goldberg's spear into a stunner.
That
Mate,
would be cool.
mad.
Yeah, I think that would be fine, especially in their primes. I think Austin would have to lead the match though, because Goldberg was even in his prime, like very, very basic.
Mate, just roll up and down.
Sting as the Crow versus the Undertaker.
Nah, Surfer Sting.
I think it would have been good if they're both in their prime, Crow and Taker Sting. But yeah, I think Surfer Sting just because it would have been a cooler face heel dynamic.
And finally, Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of good though, isn't it?
Did that never happen?
No, it did not.
That's really surprising.
That'd be crazy good. Like that.
That would've
Like,
been-
I'm sorry, if I was in the arena for that, I would just be going mental.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
got like masters of crowd work like that, then that is literally going to be like one of the best moments of your life seeing that happening.
So you have an option, gentlemen. We can go straight into any other business, or you can double down and go for the extra list.
I'd say
Let's do
double
it.
down.
Let's do it. Extra
Double
list.
down. Extra.
All right. Well, this one is titled "The Most Legendary Wrestling Feuds of All Time." You're going to tell me whether they were good or overrated.
Okay.
And we start with Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair.
Oh, otherworldly.
Yeah, incredible. Absolutely
Yeah,
incredible. And I know
good.
Cam hasn't seen any of it, so we shall move on to the next one. Daniel Bryan versus The Authority.
Overrated. It was good at the time, but looking back on it, it's very overrated.
No, very high highs, very low lows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
very
about-
in
yeah.
between. Yeah. That's a really good way of describing that. Very high
Yeah.
highs and very low lows.
Yeah.
Mitsuharu Misawa versus Toshiaki Kawada.
Fucking out. It's like godly.
He's just come. Oh, yeah.
You mentioned Misawa and Kawada. I'm like, oh yes.
All right, well, I have to take your word for it because I haven't seen any of it. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
I don't know. I think it's quite good, to be honest. I like it.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated Hell in a Cell matches of all time is the first one they had. I believe at No Mercy 2003. or somewhere around that time, maybe Vendor. I can't remember. It was definitely 2003 as far as I remember. It might have been 2002 actually. I don't know. It was no, it's definitely 2003, I think. But yeah, it was Lesnar versus Undertaker. It was the one where Paul Heyman gets grabbed by Taker by the tie and he pulls him into the cage and fucks him up. Very cool. Yeah, no, it's iconic, and I suppose it's, you know, the sort of cherry on top of that is, of course, the incredible moment where the streak ends, which is just shell shocking. Here's a good one from the Indies: Kevin Steen versus El Generico.
Oh, absolutely. Just the
cool.
ROH Ladder Wars match.
I like.
John Cena versus Randy Orton.
No, thumb up. I like.
Are we talking about overall or just separate? Because they've feuded so many times.
That's exactly why I'm
That's
giving it
iconic.
thumbs down. Oversaturated.
I'd say like middle.
No, to
Mid.
me, that's iconic.
Unlike the Joker film, mid. Sting versus the NWO.
I can't really
mid.
comment.
No, that's dead.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Amazing at the time, but when I go back and watch it, bit overrated.
Okay.
It's to watch
dead.
when you
It's
still
actually-
think it's real.
Starcade match is dead. It is the deadest match.
Yeah, that's fair. Tommy Dreamer versus Raven and ECW.
Ask George.
Okay.
Would you rather save Tommy Dreamer or George?
Oh, Tommy Dreamer any day.
Tommy Dreamer.
Would you save anyone like over George? Like literally, I mean, you said you'd save Jimmy Savile over George, so at this point, it must be literally anyone.
Jeffrey
Mate,
Dahmer.
I'll draw the line at Jeff
Say what you
Dahmer.
like about Jeffrey, but he has given us one of the best Netflix series of all time, and I look forward to talking about that in a minute.
I still haven't seen it.
Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels.
Oh
Good,
yeah,
mate.
absolutely good.
That's
really good.
iconic.
That's a big thumbs up. Right up there. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
It's so good. And that's just not me. It's because at the time both guys were at their level, and it's like we say, it's like Kenny Omega back then in like 2016, 2017, 2018 when he was in New Japan, you can't fault because he was that good. But ever since then, he's come to Japan, so it's like he is a bit overrated now. But back then with Okada, they were that next level, and it's amazing.
The mega
Yeah,
power.
I'm gonna say good. You know, I actually sorry to hop in there,
mate.
but
That's one
I'm gonna
strike
say
for you.
good.
Oh, wait.
Oh shit. But no, I have to say it's good because like I think looking now, and I feel like we've kind of, you know, grown to have a bit of a negative opinion of Kenny Omega over time. But I think, you know, separating that, it is actually quite sick. So yeah.
Yeah, no, the matches themselves incredible. I don't think because it was based in New Japan and they're not big on the whole, you know, backstage promo stuff and that's where it was lacking, was the entertainment value for me. But as far as wrestling quality goes, absolutely phenomenal. The Mega Powers explode. Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's iconic.
awesome,
That is
awesome.
a thumb up.
Awesome.
I hated it because Hulk Hogan in real life just shat on Randy Savage every opportunity he got, so it gets a big thumbs down from me. Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Bruiser Brody versus Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, I do love Bruiser Brody.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, I've not really
big
seen
on
this one.
Abdullah the Butcher, but the heat between the two was pretty incredible. It's because
I'm not too
It
familiar.
crossed over into real life so much. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not really too familiar, to be honest. Like I know Bruiser Brody, I know Abdullah the Butcher, but I don't know
You
this
watched Dark
feud.
Side of the Ring about Brody's passing
I've actually never watched Dark Side
on
of the Ring
Channel 4. It's
myself,
on the
so-
All
Yeah,
4.
it's on all four.
Yeah, you can watch
All
them all
four.
free on Channel 4.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen at home, that's how we expect you to spend your evening.
Yep. Yes, we do.
That
Also-
or Riverdale.
and go out. And finally, what I believe to be the greatest rivalry in wrestling history, at least in terms of wrestling quality, because a lot of people would argue it was against Vince. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
that's
only
good,
two. There's only two words I have to say. My way.
Creamy goodness.
My way. My way.
Oh, yeah. One of the greatest promos of all time.
That just plays in my head sometimes when I walk down the street.
Yeah, that's fair. What? And then you
That
just
and
crack a
Batista's
beer,
theme song.
crash a beer over fucking George Whittle's head, and away you go. Right?
Innit? When you're walking into a party, you just gotta walk into My Way.
Because in the My Way video, they steal each other's moves, don't they? So if you
Yeah.
and George recreated it, would you just literally spend the whole video going, "Oh, I need to get tickets for Clash at the
Yeah.
Castle"?
He'd be
Oh,
doing monkey flips and that, and I'd just be smoking weed in the corner.
monkey
No
flips.
job.
Go ape once again strikes. This really is the running theme. Right, boys. Any other business? What you got?
All right, Overwatch 2. Who has it?
I don't because it's not available on Game Pass.
No, it's free.
What free as in like you just download it from the free games?
It's like
Cool.
Fortnite. You
Yeah,
just
because I was
download
looking
it.
for it. I was looking for it and couldn't find it because the only thing I could find it was like $34.99. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah,
buying
that's just like a skin pack. That's not the game.
it. Okay. So I need to
Okay.
obviously delve a bit deeper, but no, I
Yeah.
don't have it yet, and I've
I
not.
might get it on PC. I'll see.
All right, I played it today for the first time.
Mm.
It's exactly the fucking same. It's literally the same game.
I mean, the update
But
was
I-
only like 700 meg from number one, so you kind of
Mm.
knew it was going to be the case. It's
Yeah.
just basically
Yeah.
they've said, "Here's Overwatch, but you don't have to pay for it anymore. We'll put number 2 on it."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a new sort of setup. There's actually a glitch at the moment where I've just lost all of my progress.
That sucks.
So, well, I mean, I think they're fixing it. Like, I'll get it back.
I
and
don't
to be
care.
honest, I'm not-
Whoever's in charge, getting the fucking bin. Overwatch sucks. It's for nerds. Fuck off.
Oh, it's Blizzard, isn't it? So it's like literally the first game was just been
Wrestle
made by
dorks.
rapists. First Overwatch is just made by a bunch of rapists, and then we got this
Mm.
new one that's not even working. So yeah, not a good look for Overwatch.
Overwatch 3, Jeffrey Dahmer skin pack confirmed.
I haven't seen Dharma yet. Is it good?
Really fucking good. I watched it all in one sitting last night. The whole thing.
Nice.
Just
Nice.
sat there from start to finish. I thought, I'm bored. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing commissions. I need someone on in the background. And then about halfway through the first episode, I just closed my laptop and then I was just sat there like that the whole time. Staring.
I might do that this weekend then.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Do not
this
watch
weekend.
it if you're unsettled. If there are triggers in there, particularly bad ones when it comes to like, young children, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Pretty fucking dark in places.
Is there
If you
anything
have a
to
sensory disposition, if you're deaf or anything, there's an incredible episode involved in that as well, but that's also really unsettling. But it is very true to the original story as well. And I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it so good and yet also so fucking terrifying.
is there anything to do with dogs? Because
Mm,
dogs are my big trigger warnings.
not
of, like,
dogs, but
anything.
there are quite a lot of like references to like rats and small
Okay.
animals.
Okay.
But,
Because dogs are my big trigger warning. Of like,
Yeah,
if I see
same
any,
here, like,
if I
yeah.
see anything happen to a dog, I'm like, I don't like this.
Michael
Yeah,
Myers.
no. Hey,
And Halloween, that Michael Myers kills a dog, doesn't he?
Yeah, I
I'm not
watched.
watching it.
I watched the.
But it's off screen, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
reckon
watched
they
the
showed it.
original. I watched the original 2 Halloweens recently, and I like how it's just they flow into one another. It's really,
Yeah, I think-
really well done.
Is it Friday 2 as well, where Jason stomps a dog?
Oh, okay.
I think it is. Like Jason kills a dog in Friday 2,
Oh,
and then it's in the ending. So it's like in the ending dream sequence as well.
well.
So very weird.
I-
But
I
No,
watched. I watched Ice Cube's Friday today. That's funny.
The what?
I like.
Friday. The Ice Cube film where it's like, damn.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, yeah. I forgot what his name was. Yeah, that's actually, fuck me. I haven't watched that in a long time. That is really fucking funny.
It's leaving Netflix at the end of the month, and it was on my
you
list.
and your leaving Netflix
No,
list.
it was.
What else is leaving Netflix? We should
No,
just
it-
have a fucking segment where it's like Tanvir leaving Netflix.
I
Like,
watched Liar Liar today, as that's leaving Netflix.
that is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Earlier today, I watched. It's not leaving. It's just come out. I watched Hocus Pocus 2.
Is that good? I ain't seen
is
Hocus
good.
Pocus 1.
It is good. Hocus
A lot
Pocus
of people
1's a
on my
laugh.
Facebook timeline saying it's shit.
I don't mind it. I like Hocus Pocus 2. It's a fun little like follow on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, me calling the Overwatch makers rapists, that was actually true.
Yeah.
That was found out. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't just being edgy for the sake of being
No.
edgy. That was actually true.
Are you
fact.
implying
They're-
that people are edgy for the sake of edgy on this podcast?
Well, I've been partial to it. Let's be honest.
We are partial to a bit of edging at the Wrestle Block.
Oh,
No, the thing is, they had to change one of the characters' names because it was named after one of the people on their team who got done for the
wait,
sexual harassment.
which character? Which character?
As McCree.
It's high
Who is
noon,
now-
boys.
Yeah, these are just words.
It's
I'm
high noon,
taking this
boys.
as like I have no clue what you're talking
The,
about.
the most memed character from Overwatch is.
Yeah, it's like basically just a cowboy. They had to change his name to Cassidy
Oh
because
my god. So.
yeah, because Jesse McCree was one of the people who worked on the game
Oh my god. Yeah.
that
And
was
high,
done for the sexual
high
harassment.
noon. High noon.
Sexual harassment, panda.
I mean, I never really played him anyway, so not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Who's
you know,
your main-
Soldier
I love
76,
that.
I didn't change it.
That is what a horrific admission. I'm not really bothered that he sexually harassed people because I didn't play.
No, that's not it. I mean, the name change.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, I'm
And
bothered by the sexual harassment.
Yeah, look, WrestlePlug's under a lot of stress at the moment.
Cam.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
Cam, because my knowledge of Overwatch is very little, but I know a few characters. Who do you main?
To be honest, I'm so bad at the game. So I've been playing as Soldier 76.
Oh,
He's
okay.
literally just Call of Duty. But
Yeah.
I will play around a little bit. I think if you
Genji?
had Overwatch 1, then you get all the characters from the first one.
Okay. Cam, I think
but-
I know who your favorite character is going to be as soon as you see him.
Who is it?
Winston.
Winston Monkey.
he's a big old ape.
I do like him, but I just hate his gun.
He's
Oh,
like
sorry,
one
we talk about video games. Sorry, I meant to say I just brought some guns and knives into the locker room again.
oh my god.
Nix is on his way out.
Don't do it.
Carl Wilkinson. Yeah, no, I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
It's fun.
How's
I'm sure it is.
did you have both of you tried? I haven't tried the Modern Warfare 2 beta before it left, or
Nah,
Okay.
I ain't got it.
Nah, I'm just gonna chill and wait till it's relatively cheap before I buy it. Is
Fair
it a
enough.
remake
Like Game
of the
Pass.
original Modern Warfare 2, or is it a brand new game?
it's a brand new one. It follows on from the Modern Warfare that just came out.
You
They
see, I
might Game
downloaded
Pass
the
it,
original. That Modern Warfare that just came out, what, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Bought it, downloaded it because Lunatrix demanded I download it so we could play it together,
Yeah.
and it has never worked once.
Oh my god.
Broken. I can't even get in a game. I don't know what the fuck it is. So I just play Warzone to death now.
Yeah.
Shout out to my plunder wankers. Like, we are fucking killing it.
The only two COD games I put heavy like time into was original Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2. Because I really enjoyed them.
All the Black Ops games are phenomenal. Well, 1 and 2 are amazing. Number 4's got the amazing zombies arc, to be fair, which is pretty sick. And then I thought Cold War Black Ops was fucking
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, I seshed that.
Yeah.
Lord knows I seshed that.
Yeah, we did. We fight the amount of hours we put into that, especially the zombies campaigns are insane. The zombies campaigns on the Call of Duty games are fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. At least the ones that are done by, I believe, Treyarch.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping because obviously Microsoft now owns COD, so I'm hoping they just Game Pass it, so we can get all the boys on in like Black Ops 3 lobbies. And then I also want to play like Zombies in Spaceland from what game is that? Like
It's not Black Ops 3.
it's something Warfare. It's not, it's something, it's the one that got disliked bombed, but it's not Advanced Warfare.
It's
the,
not
the next
Infinite.
one.
Is it Infinite? Infinite Warfare?
Infinite Warfare? I
Infinite.
think, is
Oh,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah. Me and Lance played that quite a lot, and that's actually really fucking good. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah,
The
I
one in
want to try
Theme
that
Park,
out.
That's really fucking good. Like, I really like that. Yeah, no, I think it's Advanced Warfare is the one. That's fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
What,
dreadful game.
Exozombies?
Yeah, no, anything with exosuits can get in the fucking bin.
Modern.
That was awful.
Yeah.
That period of Call of Duty games where they just kept doing like ultra futuristic shit just didn't work.
It
Like-
it reeked of Battlefield because Battlefield was doing it better.
Yeah, Battlefield at that time, like Bad Company was fucking phenomenal, and Battlefield 4 was excellent as well. And now Battlefield's dog shit again,
Yeah.
and Call of Duty seems to have regained its kind of prominence as the number one shooter. So
I'll tell you what, COD World War II is dull as dishwater, though. That
Hmm.
is boring. That is a boring game.
So then, what would you
I
say?
actually really like the campaign. I actually think it's really good.
Really?
Okay.
I don't like
Campaign I actually
zombies
have
mode.
played, it's good.
Zombies mode is okay, but it's too empty. Zombies on Vanguard is pretty dreadful. Well, it's a fine zombies idea, but there's just nothing to it. There's no story. It's and that died on his ass. Vanguard in general, shame because the storyline in that is pretty decent as well. But the campaigns, nobody cares about them, and they're like 5 hours long. So
I think the only like campaigns people really cared about were the original Modern Warfares, because you had like Soap, Ghost, Price.
Black Ops campaign's great with Alex Mason.
Yeah, the
Woods,
first one.
The
Bowman.
numbers, Mason. What do they mean? The numbers.
With the JFK thing at the end, that is like
Cold
such a
War.
drop.
Did you finish the Cold War campaign?
No, still haven't finished.
Mate, Adler and Bell are so sick. Yeah, no,
Because I put 1,000 hours into bloody zombies carrying you lot around in all the stories.
Fucking Lazar, Park, mate, that whole gang is so sick.
Lazar, second name, no. Age, Nix. There's a joke 2 people will get.
Yep.
No, those, good stuff. Good stuff. Anything else you boys want to talk about, or should we wrap it up?
Cam, have you seen the most recent Black Panther trailer?
I have to say it does look very good. What?
That's the twist. The villain's white.
I'm actually really interested because I don't know if they're gonna make Namor just full on a villain.
Namor's the I don't know.
The striker for Brazil.
Yeah, Neymar.
No,
That's
Neymar Jr. has arrived.
No,
in Black
not
Panther.
him.
Yeah, he's got winged feet and he's the first mutant in the comics. So I think he will kind of be a villain, but I'm not too sure. He might be more like
I reckon
an
in this
anti-hero.
one he'll be a villain and then he'll get a face turn eventually.
And then in the next one, it'll be CR7.
Yep, CR7.
Wearing only a
in
pair of boys' underpants. Yeah.
If Ronaldo walks in like Harry Styles at the end of Eternals, I'm gonna fucking go.
That should be his finishing move. He goes Sue, and an energy blast just fucking wipes everybody out.
He pulls out the Infinity Gauntlet, does the snap like Thanos, and it's like Sue.
I actually watched Don't Worry Darling over the weekend.
Oh, how'd you find it?
I actually thought it was quite cool. I mean, the story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not incredibly put together, but it is a fun film. It's a great spectacle. And as well, I think Harry Styles' acting was not even bad.
It wasn't that bad. It was just the caption I saw someone put up that I think described it perfectly. The Truman Show, but Harry Styles viciously eats
I put
pussy.
that in the group chat.
Yeah, you did.
I put that in the group chat.
It's not wrong though.
Yeah, that is 100% accurate. It is literally just the Matrix Truman Show combined.
Yeah. It's interesting though. The acting's not bad. The story's a bit meh.
Story twist is very meh, but it is fun.
I think
it's just good aesthetic as well, just to look at.
I'm gonna go see The Woman King tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
that's got a lot of
really
controversy about it. That is.
Oh, really?
Well, because the tribe, because it's based on
Yeah.
elements of a true story, but apparently that tribe was like one of the most brutal and violent and ugly tribes. They were never good at war. They lost all their major. Like apparently, it's like a really bad representation of really bad people. But that doesn't take away from the fact that apparently, the acting is incredible and the lead woman is
Viola
fantastic.
Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis. Love Viola Davis.
Yeah, there's not enough lead women in films anyway. Like women are incredible actresses. Like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is phenomenal. Right?
I feel like
she gets a lot of heat actually.
Yeah,
but that's because of the Israeli conflict, isn't it? Like, that's always going to upset people. You're always going to fall on one side or the other. You're either going to have a lot of people support you or a lot of people hate you. That's just the way that is, unfortunately.
I might
what happens when you mix politics with entertainment.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we'll leave it there then. We'll leave it there. Obviously, Cameron Anderson, well-known sympathizer of the Israeli condition. Thank you very much for joining us at the Wrestle. He doesn't even have a fucking clue what it is, does he?
Obviously, I know what Israel is.
Obviously, I'm not saying you don't know what Israel is, but all right then. You tell us in a nutshell what the Israeli and Palestinian conflict is all about. Are you Googling it? No, there you go. He's gone. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching the Wrestle Blog. What annoys me is I've now got to fucking edit this shit. Arsehole. I'm just going to put a fucking DNF or something in his screen. Tanvir, thank you very much for joining us for the State of Wrestling Address.
Thank you for having me. Camp's going to join back now, isn't he?
Probably, but, podcast is done at this point.
He's going to message separately.
Done. It's done. We're done here. We're done here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you want a proper Extreme Rules pre-show, we'll also drop a little predictions thing on YouTube, hopefully, if I have time. But obviously, I'm back to the full grind of obviously working on the independent scene this weekend, which I'm very excited to do so. Thank you very much to Tanvir and to the absent without leave that is Cameron Anderson. And we will catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.
Bye.
Bye. Have a really good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.